Hello, I'm here to talk about library preferences and observational study.
Step 1. Design the study. Our research question was what gender is more likely to study on the second floor instead of the other floors of the library. To collect our data, we conducted a observational study, meaning that we did not interfere or conduct any experiments and only observed. Before collecting the data, we predicted that we would see more women on the second floor. To collect our data, we used a table to tally up all the men and women on each floor. We took a cluster convenience sample since we only collected data at times that were convenient for us. And it was a cluster since we documented anyone sitting down in the library at that time. To reduce the potential bias for our observational study, we only took samples from the main areas of the library. To further reduce bias, we only counted people that were sitting down within the 30 minutes of us collecting data, and 2 people were assigned to each floor, which helped us be more accurate with our tallying.
2. Collect the data. We assigned 2 people to collect data on each floor. We recorded the data or tallies on a collection sheet. One person counted and recorded men, and the other counted and recorded women. We collected data in 30-minute sessions. After collecting the data, we counted up the tallies for each gender and floor and loaded them onto the toolbox.
Here's of us collecting data and our collection sheets. As you can see, each one of us had our own sheet, and we would collect one gender per floor. The statistical procedure we chose was chi-squared. We chose this because we were taking counts of whether someone was male or female, and not measurements.
For the Pearson chi-squared test, we need to have 2 descriptive statistics. These are a graphical summary and a numerical summary. In the statistical toolbox, we can create these. The first one is a data table with the total observed counts. It is important not to include the actual totals in the data entry area or within the shaded blue cells because the toolbox will automatically add the number of men and women on each floor and put them at the bottom of the table. The second descriptive statistic for the chi-squared test is a graphical summary. You can use a bar graph or a pie chart. We decided to use bar graph. This bar graph, titled Total Observed Counts, we can see a representation of the data for each floor and each category. So we can see the proportion of men versus women on each floor.
Step 4 is make inferences. So our research hypothesis is that, our null is that gender and library floor are independent. Our alternative is that gender and library floor are not independent. The requirements for the chi-squared test is that there's a simple random sample and all expected counts are greater than or equal to 5, which both of them are met. Alright, so our alpha level for this test was alpha equals 0.05. Our test statistic was chi-squared equals 8.25. The degrees of freedom is 2. Our p-value is 0.016, which means that we will reject the null since it is less than our alpha level. And in other words, there is sufficient evidence to suggest that gender is not independent of the library floor.
In step 5, take action. Seeing the results, we recommend checking out a different floor to study on. Some of the weaknesses we encountered are our counts may be off because we did not count anyone in study rooms, study booths, or in the tutoring center. We only collected data on Monday and Wednesday afternoon.
Thank you for watching our presentation about observational studies.